it's a really shitty feeling, man. It's a terrible feeling to be where I'm at when I have so much around me, people and fame and money and all this shit. And it's like, I don't want to boast about it, but I have everything I want in life. Why am I sad? Why am I so depressed?
Many car enthusiasts I know aspire to be wealthy so that they can buy their dream car, so that they can modify it, so that they can build influence, a platform, and gain status from it ultimately. But I have a question. What happens when you finally have everything? The cars, the money, the partnerships, the girls, the friendships. Everybody wants to be around. What do you do when you've made it to the top and everything you've worked so hard to build is compromised, or even worse, taken away from you? Because maybe somebody lied on you or somebody cheated or scammed you. I can't imagine what Spencer Burke is going through, but I think this is what has happened to him. I don't know him personally at all. I've watched his videos for the past 6 months, but hearing this story honestly brings me to tears. No one deserves to go through this. If you've never heard of the story Job, it's about a man who was blameless in his walk. He had everything he possibly needed. He had wealth, he had friends, but all of a sudden, God decided at the snap of a finger to just take it all away from him. And in that moment, all he had left was himself and his thoughts. Whether you believe in God or not, you have to know that things in this life come and go. And from Spencer's story and this lesson, I want to shed light on a couple of the dark things that I see in our car community that can ultimately lead to our downfall. Normally we talk about cars, but not today. This is just far too serious for us to ignore. Spencer Burke was one of the first people to make a video talking about the realities of rising and falling. We need more content like this in the car community. The first thing I want to attack is it seems that in car community and culture, there is a idolization on getting everything that you want or you desire. And the truth is, I don't think that that is going to ultimately solve all of our problems. I think the truth is, once you have it all, it will never be enough. So many people work so hard to build their dreams in this life. And then when they finally get to the point of success, they stop and they're like, well, this is all I've worked on. What else is there for me to do now? And they have a hard time wrestling with that. And it leads to a lot of dark places. You also have to remember, you can spend all that time building those things, but it can be taken away at the snap of a finger. At the end of this life, we're gonna be put in the ground, and those things that we work so hard to get, they're not coming with us. Now, don't get me wrong. We can all love cars and be passionate about them, race them, build them, everything in between. But we cannot worship and idolize these things because, like money, a car is a material thing. And cars can actually fail us just like other things in this life. It's a sad truth, but it's the reality. I see so many guys put everything that they have in their cars, but friends, it is just a car. Cars shouldn't go above relationships and people that we love. I had to learn this when I sold my 340i back about a year or so ago. I love that car so much, but there were other things in my life that I had to prioritize. And yes, I have my F80 M3 right now, but I had to be patient. This next point is tough because it seems like Spencer was betrayed by a lot of the people that he thought he could trust and he cared about. And there's a lot of truth to the fact that we cannot rely on people. But the other sad reality is we need people around us that ultimately can build us up and not tear us down. And I don't know these relationships. I don't really know what happened, but there are going to be people that come into your life and there's going to be people that come out of your life. But in our lives, I feel like there are people who come into our lives who may fail us, but they'll never ever turn their back on us when we have a hard time. So I would say you shouldn't go on the premises of not trusting anybody, but finding that those people that we know can help us in a time of need, whether that be family, people you grew up with. Yes, those people are gonna fail you. But just because they fail you doesn't mean that you can't be friends with them or have a relationship. We need social interaction. We're humans. And I hope to see that Spencer, has some more relationships around him. I know that his mom hasn't been able to help him as much since he moved to Texas, but I'm hoping that he finds some friends there in Texas. And when you have those friends, you have to be connected to them and open and vulnerable with them. If you don't tell people what is going on with you, then you are not going to be emotionally healthy. And I know that's a hard thing for a lot of guys in this day and age. We have trouble, showing our emotions, but that is a part of being healthy. You need to let people know where you're at, and don't let pride and arrogance keep you down or keep you from sharing what you need to get out of your system. And that's why I'm so impressed by what Spencer did by releasing this video. He told the truth to everybody about where he really was at. And he had to tell about a lot of things that I'm sure he wasn't so proud of. And I applaud him. That's a hard thing for a lot of people to do, even for myself. I can't emphasize it enough. You have to let people know what you're going through, and you have to show emotion. And if you have a hard time showing emotion, like Spencer was saying, you need to find someone you can talk to, or yes, get a therapy. I know that therapy in many worlds and many different cultures is a taboo thing, because if you have something wrong, you should be able to deal with yourself. But we as a society, we as a people, we as a car community, we have to deal with the things that we struggle with. We cannot just go on carrying those things. Like I was just saying before, reach out to a therapist, get help. In my family, I'm African American. People do not go to therapy. I tell my parents I'm going to therapy. They're like, what? You don't need no therapy. God will fix it. And I was like, no, God will help you through therapy. So guys, get therapy. And lastly, this kind of brings everything together, all these things that I've talked about, you're striving for the wrong things. If you're putting all your time, your energy in your car and not taking time to be grateful for other things or invest in other things, if you don't have friends, if you don't have if you're not showing emotion, this can ultimately lead you to a dark place. And Spencer mentioned that, like he said, he was through, he was done, he wanted to end it. And you have all those things, all those issues, you will eventually get to that place. And if you are at that place, let me tell you, get help right now. The cars, the money, anything. That doesn't matter if you aren't here tomorrow. So I don't know who I'm speaking to, but I know that this is for somebody, guys. When I was talking about the book of Job earlier, that book of the Bible actually ends with Job coming out of whatever the struggle that he was in better than he was before, because he stayed true. He stuck to his guns. He didn't end his life. He didn't give up. And that's the same thing I want to say to you guys. If you keep pushing, you get therapy, you get help, you change your ways, you change your habits, you will come out of the bright side. And to bring this all together, Spencer will ultimately come out on the right side of this, and I think he'll be better than he ever was before. But he has to just push through all the pain, all the fear, all the depression, all the doubt, and he will end up where he needs to be. And I'm very interested to see where he goes. And I think, like I said before, I applaud Spencer because his story is opening the can of worms that I think we need to be discussing more in the car community. We need to be open, we need to be vulnerable, we need to care for one another. Anyways, guys, I'm personally praying for Spencer. I'm hoping for all the best for him. Let's keep building and grinding. And remember, if you aren't building on the inside, whatever you're doing to your car won't matter half as much, guys. Take care of yourselves. Love you. Peace. We'll see you in the next one.